we're going to look at a soup. It's winter squash. It's actually, I'm going to introduce you to some different squashes right now. This is what we have. This is a spaghetti squash, and when you bake it, you pull it out. The squash actually comes in strands. That's why they call it spaghetti squash. This is a butternut. This is an acorn squash, and this one called a buttercup. The two I'm going to be working with right now are the butternut and the acorn. You can generally find them in the store, and they're usually year-round. What we're going to do, the way to start off with this recipe is you cut the squashes in half this way, then you rub them with oil, salt, and pepper, and you bake them. And I've baked some off ahead of time, and you end up with this. They're nice. A fork goes right through them real easily. So this thing has to be done ahead of time. So what we're going to do is I have some onions right here that have been sauteing. And I get a spoon back here. And this works just as well. Just kind of stir this around. These onions have been cooking. What we're going to do is I'm going to get some some spices. I have some ginger. We're going to pour that in. I'm going to put some, just a little bit of allspice. And then I'm going to grate some, as soon as I find my microplane, which I have it right here. I'm going to grate some nutmeg in here. One thing about when I work with like spices, I actually like to get them in the oil and get them working ahead of time, because what they'll do is they'll actually start to release a lot of their oils and essential oils and flavor. So we're going to get a spoon and we're going to scoop out the inside. And that's all you do is you just get it and you just scoop it out and you put it right in there. You don't want to get the skin. Now squashes are really originated in the Americas. So this is like definitely when it comes to Thanksgiving and the Pilgrims and all that, this is definitely the real McCoy. That one had a little skin on it. Get out the best you can. Do this one now. Take my chicken stock. Now one thing about this soup is that you can make it vegetarian. I'm putting chicken stock in right now, but if you wanted to, you could use vegetarian stock, and it's a vegetarian soup. Another thing I'm going to be doing later on, I'm going to show the different ways of garnishing the soup. Let's get to, okay. Now, since everything's been cooked, we pretty much just have to bring this up to a boil, and then we can puree it. Let me show you the different garnishes we're going to use. Since this is like a winter soup, I have some ginger snaps. So we're going to do the soup, and then we're going to sprinkle some ginger snaps on one of them. And we have some goat cheese here, and I have some truffle oil. Okay, this is for the truffle oil. I'm just whipping, I just got a little whipped cream in here. And we're going to add some truffle oil, and this is like makes your dish like the Rolls Royce of squash soup. It's very rich, and I mean, just as, you know, for me, truffles are just an amazing thing. One interesting thing about it, if you're going to use whipped cream, the best thing to do when you're whipping cream is to make sure the dish is cold, the cream is cold, everything's ice cold, and it just works out. Now this is the goat cheese. We're just going to kind of put a little cream in there and kind of just mix that around. So we actually will have a group of different kind of flavors to finish this soup. Now we'll just check to see how the soup up done. It's getting there. It'll be about another minute. By the time I get this done, we'll puree it. I'll season it. Okay, maybe a little bit more cream to this. You can also cut back a lot on the fat. These do not need to be put in there if you don't want them. Okay. Okay, that's nice and creamy. Just wanted to get that a little creamy. Now that will bring a great, you have the sweetness of the squash and all the spices I put in there, and then you add the goat cheese, and then the ginger snaps. I'm going to have to use a knife on those. Oh, there we go. Okay. Scrape that. I'm going to get out my, this is a handy tool to have in your kitchen. It's called an immersion blender. I also call it a stick blender. And it just saves the problem of, if you don't, of going to and taking all this out and going to a blender. Now this is going to boil soon, but what we're going to do is this. We're going to put this, you put this all the way down inside it, and you just go. You got to, now if you were to use a stand-up blender, like a Waring blender, make sure that when this gets nice and hot, that you only fill the blender up halfway, and make sure you let it vent, because what will happen, and I've seen this happen so many times to young cooks, the whole blender just just blows up in their face. And another trick about this, you don't let it spill out of this. Take this and put that in the sink. Kind of wipe up my mess here so it doesn't get any worse. Okay, we're going to have a quick taste of this. That's really good. It needs to be a little hotter. I'm going to add a little bit more salt, a little pepper. Give it a nice quick stir, and stir some over the side, make yet another mess. I'm going to have a job cleaning this up. At this place, I'm the chief bottle washer. At the restaurant, I always had dishwashers who are amazing people. Okay, we're going to cover that. I'm going to get my bowls to plate. Like I said, we're going to do three different types of soup here. 3 different finishes. Okay. There we go. It's starting to bubble along the sides now. So let's take this over, put that over there. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put a ladle in that bowl. This is really a nice consistency. It's a great way to start off like a Thanksgiving meal. Okay, those are the 3 soups, and these are the 3 finishes. So we're going to put a little bit of, one, you can just take a little bit of the ginger snap. It's kind of like mounded up in the center. The ginger snap will add a little crunch, plus the spices in the ginger snaps are the same that's in the soup. It kind of like just reinforces each other. Now we'll go over here. I have the goat cheese. Let's take that. You just take some, now you can put it in a piping bag if you want, or you can just take it like this and you just kind of just spoon it right in the center. And last but not least, and not to be forgotten, is a truffle whipped cream. You just take that, go to this. I did a large party, I catered a big party where we had like over 100 people, and I did this soup in little teeny Demi-Tasse cups, and I finished it off with some truffled whipped cream. So I guess with this soup, you basically be starting on your way to a glorious Thanksgiving meal, so let's eat well.